I can recall vividly times, thoughts of divorce, wanting to give up, wanting to call it quits. You're now listening to the No Pills Podcast, your best resource for cultivating meaningful, healthy, long-lasting, romantic relationships that bloom into strong marriages. My name is Gordon McGee, speaker and evangelist for Go Stand and Preach, and I'm sitting down with my Bible, people like yourself, and relationship professionals to discuss what are the best practices to obtain and maintain, you guessed it, love in this modern dating marketplace. I promise you that taking a blue or a red pill is not the answer. Welcome to No Pills. Welcome to No Pills. Love fully scripted. I'm your host, Gordon McGee, speaker and evangelist for Go Stand and Preach. And today we're speaking about divorce. Divorce, friends. And I wanted to approach this from a really practical position or perspective. So here's what I did. I got online, Google, and I thought to myself, what if I was a person wanting to get divorced or thinking about getting divorced in 2023? What would I do? What would be the first steps that I might take? And so I got on Google and I typed in, should I get divorced? And we're going to be going over the top hits that came back from that search. All right. At the top, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, top 6 results that I got back from that search on Google. Should I get divorced? Now, many of you know, I was married for almost 20 years, with my spouse almost 20 years. I lost her to cancer. She was 37 years old, a little bit over 2 years ago, I guess almost going on 3 years now. And I have some advice. I have some feedback. I have some experiences that I would love to share with you. Also, just going to be right up front. I can recall vividly times, thoughts of divorce, wanting to give up, wanting to call it quits. Never did. But friends, I understand why people can reach that place. But as we always say over here at No Pills, the Bible is the owner's manual for operating your vehicle, which is your love life, your marriage, and your relationships. And you got to go back to the source. You got to do it the manufacturer's way if you want to actually have success, if you want to be able to maintain and have a healthy, well-functioning marriage. But I'm just saying all that to say, I get it. I've been there. I know what it's like. Here's what I got. First one that came up, the first result, Oprah Daily, mercy. And here's what it says, 16 signs it might be time to get a divorce. All right, 16 signs. All right, first one here is you never argue, okay? You believe it or not, you're supposed to argue. Hold on, pump the brakes. You're supposed to argue. What? Why are you supposed to argue? Why is arguing like a requirement to be married? I don't remember seeing that or reading that anywhere in life, in the Bible. Yes, people are human. Yes, I'm sure the majority of marriages or married people argue. I'm not denying that, but you never argue. So what's being implied here is that no one cares enough to argue, or maybe there's not enough passion. There's not enough relationship. There's not enough involvement to even bother with an argument. Like everyone is checked out. Okay, but we shouldn't be looking, that just sounds toxic to me, okay? That just sounds toxic. Yeah, I'm looking for an argument. I have a good, healthy relationship, a good marriage because we're arguing. All right, winning is everything. If that's your main focus, winning is everything, is all about you. Listen, selfishness will kill a marriage. Marriage is a selfless institution entered into by selfish people. And you can be sure that if winning is everything to you, if it's all about you, all about me, you are going to ruin your marriage. Now, I don't see these first two here as grounds for divorce, but let's keep going. All right. You want to provoke your spouse. All right. Well, join the club. I mean, it happens. You're a human being. That can happen from time to time. All right. They send your heart racing. I mean, we can unpack that. I mean, it's just high level. We're not talking the pitter patter of love. We're referring to full on heart rate racing stress. All right. My question is, can that be reversed? Can that be worked on? They send your heart racing. Like, okay. I'm just thinking about the person who's going to run across these lists and just go, yup, check, yup, check, yup, check, yup, check. Oh, let me call a lawyer. Okay. You hide your real self. All right. I mean, that doesn't have to be your spouse's fault. I mean, you're hiding who you really are. Maybe It is or isn't. Is that grounds for divorce? You're overcompensating on Facebook. Social media usually manufactures an extremely edited version of our lives. Okay, well, stop fronting on Facebook. Be honest. Stop living a lie. Stop creating a fake. I mean, it's also a space in which it's easy to craft an illusion. Yeah, the only person you're lying to is yourself. This is grounds for divorce because you're too afraid to be honest or to just get off of social media. Listen, I want to say to everyone out there who's married and has social media, I only got on social media because I got into ministry, and this was after my wife passed away. Prior to that, I did not have one social media account for almost 20 years because I didn't want to run into old girlfriends online, friends. I was not always a Christian, always a man of God. I didn't always have faith and belief and understanding. But I had common sense to realize, like, yeah, man, I get online. There's so much forgery going on online anyway, and faking it and all that. It's just some of us don't need to be online, especially some of us that are married. Get off the social, man. Just get off of it. When the thought of leaving scares the double hockey sticks out of you, and yet take notice what it feels like to imagine actually leaving, not just leaving this new life of yours. When the thought of leaving all right, you have a thought of leaving. It scares you. It should scare you. You've said before God in a church room, auditorium full of people that you're going to become one flesh with this person and your lives are going to be bound up in each other. And it's to death do you part. This thought should scare you because you made a commitment to be together forever and to be one flesh. Kids or work or friends come first. Listen, God should come first. Okay. Then your spouse, then your children, in that order. That's the first problem here. Yeah, kids or your friends come first. So you're thinking about having a divorce or getting a divorce. No, if God was first in your life, maybe you wouldn't be thinking about getting this divorce. And I know that's not true for every person out there. Someone's going to say, there's going to be a listener saying, well, Brother Gordon, I put God first and it's still going down the drain. I hear you. I see you. But what I'm saying is here, it should be God first. All right. It says under this heading, all of these outside influences can positively impact a marriage. And of course, there will come times when other factors, okay, an ailing mom, having to focus on your child will require your full attention. But when any of one thing takes over, leaving little room for a partner to dedicate time and attention to the relationship, it can take a toll. Yes, but is this grounds for divorce? All right, next one. It's I and me and never we. This is what I'm saying. Selfishness will ruin your marriage. Obviously, you cannot control your spouse. But what I'm saying is, if your spouse is just selfish, if it's just about them, yes, this is going to ruin the marriage. But is it grounds for divorce? Let me say this right now. So this is a good point to mention this. Hey, you chose to marry this person. Yes, you said I do. If you didn't do the due diligence that you were supposed to, if you didn't pray about it, if you didn't slow down and speed up, if you didn't get feedback from friends, or if you were hard-headed, you had it all together, you knew what you were doing, haste makes waste, deal with it now. It's the culture we live in today. Like, we don't want to take our lumps. Like, I've been there, man. And listen, man, if you ask me, my wife was like perfect, brother, sisters, perfect. But it's me. I'm the problem, right? I'm in the relationship. I'm there. I'm involved, right? Like, every day you don't feel. Every day you don't, man, you got to show up and put in work. You have to deny self. It's not easy, man. It's not easy. So when it's about I and me and never we, I don't know if that's grounds for divorce. I think it's time for a change. Okay. I'm just saying, you push back when others say to stay. That's you again. I is in the middle of sin. Come on. I is in the middle of pride. Come on. Isn't I in the middle of selfishness? I. They stop being your go-to person. Yeah, listen, I don't know if that's grounds for divorce. You need to correct the behavior. Adam, Eve, and not Sue and Jan and Steve and Mark. 2 people. Listen, keep folks out of your business. Unless you're in a life-threatening situation, keep folks out of your marriage, period. You and your spouse need to work that out. We don't need Tom, Dick, and Harry involved in your marriage. You don't need your mama involved in your marriage, your daddy, your aunties, your cousins, your sisters, your brothers. Man, be an adult. Learn how to communicate. Don't be telling everybody your business and getting the third party involved. Satan was the third party. Lucifer was the third party. The dragon, the serpent was the third party. Come on. Forgiveness doesn't seem like an option. Yeah, because it's a choice. You already have an exit strategy. So what? What does that mean? You have an exit strategy. Oh, since I have an exit strategy, that's a sign. I need to get divorced. Oh, listen, I'm going to tear these lists up, man. I just don't know if there's Okay, this is mediate, everything mediation. Are you really ready for divorce? The 8 questions you need to ask. The three divorce dilemmas. 1, I want the divorce, but I'm not sure if it is the right decision. You need to ask God. What does the Bible say? I'm trying to tell you, friends. I know a lot of people, we don't want to deal with your God. All right. Number 2, I do not want the divorce. My spouse does. Okay. Number 3, I only want this divorce because my marriage is not working. All right. Those are the top 3 dilemmas. And then here are the 8 questions. All right. Do you still have feelings for your partner? Listen, beloved, feelings come and go. Feelings come and go. You said till death do us part. Today you may feel great. Today you may feel like you're a rock star. You're married. You love, but tomorrow you don't feel that way. Do not trust your feelings. They will betray you. We need to be people of integrity, people of our word, people of consistency, not led by our feelings and controlled by our feelings. And that's not to say that you should be in a miserable marriage. That's to say I need to fix it. You need to get the help and counseling you need to get it fixed. Whatever you got to do, you definitely need to be praying. You need to get God involved in that relationship. If you think that a human being is going to change themselves without any help, without any input, without any oversight of the divine, you don't understand the human mind. God has to come in and change the heart of a person, the heart of your spouse, friends, is what I'm saying to you. That doesn't come from within us. There may be a desire. We make the choice. Number 2, were you ever really married? What in the world are we talking about? I don't care if anyone never showed up, never really played the role of your wife or your husband. And now we're going to say, well, because you never really fulfilled the role, that means we're not married. That's not how that works. You both said, I do. It's on. You're married. You have decided to become one flesh. You're locked in. That's what it is. Now, if you need to both learn how to be a husband and be a spouse or be a wife, then that's fine. If you both need to learn how to be the other significant other, the other partner, then let that be the case. Yeah, you were really married. You said, I do, before God and friends and family. Absolutely. Number 3, are you truly ready for divorce, or are you just threatening? Listen, this should never happen. You should never threaten your spouse with a divorce. Never. These words should never even come out of your mouth. I'm going to divorce you. I'm going to leave you. That should never come out of your mouth. That's super toxic. That is super like, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's toxic. Number 4, is this a sincere decision based on self-awareness, or is it an emotionally reactive decision? Good question. Good question. Number 5. What is your intent in wanting a divorce? Okay, what's your why? All right, that could be pretty telling. Number 6, have you resolved your internal conflict over the divorce? That sounds crazy. Everyone who goes through a divorce is conflicted. Why is that, friends? Why, if divorce was the move, if divorce was the thing to do, then why would you be conflicted about it? It's because you know what you said. You know you got right there on the altar, and you promised this other person that you would love and protect and be with them forever and become one flesh with them. And now you know you're not keeping your word. So of course you're conflicted. Of course you're conflicted, and you should be. All right. Number 7, can you handle the unpleasant consequences of a divorce? I guess that's a real question to ask yourself. But then that begs the question, would that mean, if you say no, then should you stay? Because the world's kind of telling you, well, if you're miserable, get out of there. If you're not feeling it, get out of there. But it's like, well, what sense does it make to ask yourself, hey, can I handle an unpleasant consequence like I don't have enough money for rent, or legal fees for divorce, or being separated from my father or my parents, my children's father or children's mother? Listen, man, it's going to be unpleasant, yes. And if you're really saying you have a valid reason to get divorced, does the unpleasantries really matter? I mean, come on, like either you're going to keep your word or you're not. And that goes for both spouses. And keeping your word may require you getting the help that you need to handle all the damage and brokenness and your baggage, and to learn how to love somebody. You know, that's my wife and I, man, we got married. Oh, I do. Yeah, we were lying to each other. We know what we were talking about. I was 22, she was 20. We were young, man. Are you willing to take control of your life in a responsible and mature way? Man, is it responsible and is it mature to break your word? You've given somebody your word and now you're breaking it. I'm just saying. And listen again, beloved, I get it. I was there. But the reasons why we want to give up, the reasons why I wanted to give up is because I was really unwilling to put in the work that I needed to put in on myself. I was unwilling to want to come to Jesus and really surrender and go through the hard battle of denying self and correcting these character defects, correcting my tone, how you speak to your spouse, how I spoke to my wife, how I looked at, like actually being a Christian. This is what I'm talking about. This is the stuff that we don't want to deal with, you know? So I'm just trying to be transparent. I'm always going to be honest with you, but I'm just trying to be transparent with you. Divorce. Okay, listen, this is crazy. Divorcemag.com. Divorce mag. There is a divorcemagazine.com. That's wild to me. I know the statistics, you know, like 50% of marriages end in divorce. The fact that there's a website dedicated to divorce is, I don't know, this is a little unsettling to me when I saw this. All right. All right. The non-negotiables when no divorce quiz is needed. So they have a quiz here. You can take this quiz. And I guess this quiz is going to let you know if you need to be divorced or not. We're going to skip the quiz. 25 divorce quiz statements. 1, my spouse is so critical, demanding, or controlling that I can't ever relax and be my authentic self. You married them. We have no shared projects, goals, or dreams we are working on towards the future. But you can. When I am being outwardly disrespected by family or friends, my spouse does not protect me, support me, defend me, or have my back. Did that just start yesterday? If you were courting for a year or two, you know, if you took the time to get to know this person and to be, you know, to court them in all 4 seasons, to see them in different friend groups and different families and different settings, you never noticed that. I'm just asking the question. You know, I think we rush into marriage, and this is why it leads to so many divorces. We tried to heal our relationship wounds and traumas with professional help. We were unsuccessful and have given up. I just wondered, did you go to God? Did you go to God? You know, anybody who puts his trust in the arm of flesh, man, it's going to fail you. And I'm not saying counseling doesn't work. I'm not saying counseling cannot be beneficial. I'm just saying, did you try God? I share my life struggles and triumphs with others, but not my spouse. Yeah, stop doing that. All right. Sex is off the table. Or if we do have sex, I feel empty and sad during and afterwards. First of all, it is not, biblically speaking, from the mouth of God, it is not okay for a husband and a wife to not have sexual intercourse. That is part of your duties and responsibilities to each other as a husband and wife. If you're not having sexual intercourse, this will open the door for the devil to walk through and enter in, okay? So that's just one. As far as how you feel, maybe you need counseling. Maybe you need to talk about that. Why do you feel empty and sad during and afterwards? What's going on there? I don't know if that's grounds for divorce, all right? We are constantly bitterly arguing and my nervous system never actually calms down. Yes, let's start praying, reading together as a family. Amen. Having morning, evening devotions, eating dinner as a family, going to a Christian counselor or a counselor of your faith, counselor of your belief system, and get the help you need. Now, I'm going to tell you, you got to go to God, man. Jesus is the key because he created us. He's the author of life. He created the first human beings. He created the first marriage, the first relationship. Who else do I want to go to? Just saying, praying for you, but it's not going to work. I don't want to. Oh man. All right, look. All right. I only do things with or for my spouse when it directly benefits me. Yeah, that's a problem. Cut that out. Let's change that. That is a behavior that can be changed. All right. The other areas of my life, work, friends, recreational, spiritual, are satisfying. It is only this marriage that is bringing me down. What a thing to say. You know, those who have gotten remarried, have divorced and remarried, and they would have, statistics say they'd have been happier in the first marriage. So how about that attention that you're spreading out to these other relationships, other persons in your life, other activities? I'm not saying they are in and of themselves evil, right? Pour more energy into connecting with your spouse. Just an idea. I'm just saying. We no longer have curiosity about each other or ask each other about their day, experiences, or goals. Well, start doing that. I think you're seeing a pattern here in my responses. These behaviors are behaviors that can be changed. These are not things that are now written in stone. Like, oh, you know, I can never ask you. No, you need to make time to sit on the porch together, sit on the balcony together, sit on the couch together with the television off, with the internet off, with the phones off, eat together, look in each other's faces, and ask each other how your day was. Yes, you have to be intentional about that, because when you become an adult, you actually work 40 plus hours a week. You're trying to raise kids if you don't have someone else raising your kids for you, and you're burnt out, you're tired, and now you have to actually make the effort to continue to get to know your spouse. Welcome to being an adult. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you showed up. I'm glad you're here. You arrived. You said I do. So get doing. I increasingly don't enjoy or dread spending time with my spouse. Mercy? What? I don't even know what to respond to that. Go and repent, okay? Go and ask God to forgive you. What did you lead this person on? Oh, I love you. Looked into their eyes, dreaminess. Oh, and now it's like I hate you. Come on, man, get out of here. Maybe it was lust, huh? But too late. You said I do. You've made a covenant, a vow before the living God. Get on it, man. Repent. Listen, you're going to go to the grass is always greener over the septic tank. You're going to go to the other side and you're going to realize once you divorce this person and marry somebody else, the problem is you. In some cases, the problem is you. It's your thought process, how you think, is your heart, that the problem sometimes lies within you. It's not always your spouse. It's you. And you're going to bring that right into your next relationship. I'm telling you. All right. I believe our marital issues are their fault. And I don't want to grow or make any changes myself that would support the changes I want to see in them. Listen, man, it takes two to tangle. There may be a spouse who has a greater percentage of the bringing the drama into the marriage. But let me tell you, a lot of times the other spouse, even if they are not in the wrong, will respond incorrectly, will respond in a non-supportive way. So, if I sin against you, right, I experience guilt. What you potentially experience is bitterness. And that is your sin, not my sin. Even though I've transgressed against you, even though I've wronged you, that bitterness is not of God. And no matter if I tell you sorry or not, you still have to make a choice and a decision if you're going to hold on to that bitterness or choose to be bitter. You need to understand that if you've been wronged in any relationship, not just your marriage, okay? There is an overall power of work imbalance between us, which benefits my spouse, which they refuse to address. Listen, there's no refusal to address anything in a marriage. So you need to show up. We need to put the work in. Like, it's not okay to say, hey, I'm not going to change. That's not acceptable. Nope, it's going to be this way forever. It's just how I am. No, not. You're definitely signing up for, okay, listen, creating. I won't say signing up. You're creating a miserable marriage. Listen, I don't know any two people in all the world who were at the altar and said, I do, and was saying, I do agree to be miserable. I'm marrying you so I can be miserable. Remember that, friends. And to my men, I want to say to you, your spouse's father, your wife's father, is giving you his daughter to protect, to love, to cherish, to take on his role. And I know so many of us are coming from broken homes and we don't, everyone has daddy issues and we don't have fathers. So sometimes this can be an abstract idea that I'm presenting to you right now, but you cherish, love, hold, protect. All right, let's see what else we got here. My spouse is defensive and has never taken accountability or apologized for actions which have negatively impacted me. Even if they did apologize, you could still choose to be bitter. Just so you know, even if you did get the apology, that may not be enough to remove, because you're gonna need God to help you. You gotta surrender that bitterness to God, that being wrong to God, because it's not gonna go away on its own. I'm telling you the truth. This is a fact, friends, on everything. Speaking from experience, all right? We do not know each other's love language. What? Or refuse to express love in a manner that is meaningful to each other. We are just, listen, who said you're supposed to? First of all, when you got married, did you even know what a love language was before you got married? You went and read that later in some article, some book somewhere, and now because you don't know each other's love language, now this is a reason to get divorced. Man, listen, I'm on one right now. This is wild to me. All right, when talking to friends or family about my marriage, I rarely have anything kind or positive to say. You should not be talking to friends and family about your marriage. Yep. All right, moving on. I have fully considered the negative effects of divorce on the children. I believe divorce is best because I want my children to see their parents healthy and happy. Statistically, that's not true. Just want you to know, statistically, children do not do better with divorced parents. Moving on. While we are both miserable in the marriage, neither of us made any efforts to get professional help or develop new relationship skills. Well, go do that. Don't get divorced. Go do that. It's kind of like you want to have a nice physique. You want to have a nice summer body. Get to the gym. But you know what we do? We go get surgery. We don't want to have a lifestyle change. We want to pop a pill. This goes right. It's reflected right in our decisions to get divorced. It's the same mentality. I don't want to put the work in. Let me just divorce you and go ruin somebody else and then go ruin somebody else and then go mess somebody else's life. Let me just mess up 10, 4, 5, 15 women, 10, 20, 25 men. Yeah, let me just keep ruining society for everybody with all these divorces and remarriages. It's wild. All right. We do not try to develop forgiveness for mistakes made by the other. Listen, forgiveness is divine. If you think that's going to come from you, Father, forgive them for they know that what they do. That I'm trying to tell you, you need God. This stuff, the emotional damage sometimes and baggage that we carry, childhood traumas, etc. You are going to need God. Straight up. Some of this stuff is so deep. The wounds are so deep. You're so broken. You're not gonna fix yourself, friend. There really is no fighting because we don't interact. We just avoid each other. Yeah, let's stop doing that. Let's spend time together and act like we want to be married. Amen. All right. I've been suffering with the decision for over 2 years, but I cannot recommit myself to reconciling and restoring this marriage. You know, it's funny. When you're forced to do something, you do it. You know, if someone told you, hey, man, if you don't take a 15-minute walk every day, 10 a.m., 12 a.m. and 3 p.m., you're going to die. You will find the time and you will get it done, friend. It's a mindset. We weak, man. We want to give up, man. I was there, man. I was at a point of wanting to give up, punking out, ashamed of myself, man. This is the thought actually took over my mind at one point. I can't do this no more. You know, a lot of times we don't want to lie in the beds that we've made. We don't want to deal with the destruction and aftermath that we've caused. We have tried at least 3 marriage classes. All right. Couples support groups. Okay. Or couples counselors with no improvement or hope. Have you tried God? I'm gonna hit you again with that one. We got some lawyers over here. All right. Lawyers, law firms they specialize in divorce. Now I'm just saying, first of all, when a person is going to benefit financially from you divorcing your spouse, I don't know if I'm trying to go see that person. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Are they really going to encourage me to not get divorced? They find out that one of the spouses are wealthy and I don't know if I trust. When to get a divorce. Watch for 9 silent signs of separation. This is from the law firms, from the lawyer folk. You're actively avoiding your partner. There it is again. Okay. Stop avoiding them. They don't act like your partner. They can act like your partner. We can go into business with people we don't even know, not even friends, and have a great partnership. We can't have a great partnership with a person that we're having sex with, that we have intercourse with, that we're becoming one flesh with, that we've had children with. Are you kidding me? Come on, friends. You don't trust or respect your partner. Now this could be a problem, you know? And a lot of times trust is not there because trust has been broken and we don't want to do what needs to be done and put in the amount of work that needs to be put in to restore and rebuild that trust. And if you're that person that's violated that trust, you need to suck it up and you need to put in all the work that you need to do to restore and rebuild that relationship. If that person, if your spouse is still willing to keep your stink butt, you hear me? For real. Whatever it takes, you need to put that work in because you broke it. Now allow God to fix it. Respect. You know, a lot of times I think I see this, you know, in abusive relationships with men towards women, you know, when that abuse is going on, or even women towards men as well. Obviously, there's no respect there if you're being abusive, but also too, you know, I think in this modern society we're living in this culture, a lot of times women respecting men is not, you know, feminism and different ideologies are quickly pushing us away from that type of thought process, especially amongst females. And it's unfortunate, man. These schools and nonsense, this false education out here. Why wouldn't you just respect another human being? Period. You know, from one human to another human. I respect you. I love you. This is the problem, man. That's crazy to me. All right. You've tried and tried and tried, but nothing changes. Yet try God. You're worried about what others might think. You need to worry about what God might think. You're staying together for the kids. Good. Why ruin their little lives? Man, humble yourselves. Humble yourselves. Ask God to help you. It's cheaper to stay together. I mean, I don't know if that's a reason to get divorced because you realize it's cheaper to stay together. You daydream about single life or dating. Okay, listen, because you want to be a hoe doesn't mean you have to go be a hoe. You dig me? So that's male or female. When I say hoe, I mean male or female whoremongers. All right? Just because, listen, you cannot prevent a bird from flying over your head. All right? You can't prevent a bird from flying over your head, but you can prevent a bird from making a nest in your hair. So that's the thought. The bird represents the thought. You can have a million wicked thoughts cross your mind. Okay? You can, oh man, so-and-so's attractive. My coworker, this, that, and the third, yada, yada. Listen, don't allow that thought to make a nest in your hair. Don't dwell on it. Having the thought is not a sin. Just because you're daydreaming about the single life or dating, that means you need to go get divorced. No, it means you need to bring every thought into the subjection of Christ. You need to train your thoughts to run in natural, correct, moral paths and not immoral paths. What are you listening to? What movies are you watching? What music are you listening to? Do you gotta, listen, friends, all this foolishness about, I've got what are they called? A work wife, a work husband. Get out of here. Get out of here. Over my dead body, you got a work wife, work husband. Man, you're thinking about separation, if not divorce. Yeah, so what? Stop thinking about it. Think about making it work. All right. Last thing we're looking at, Woman's Day. All right, Woman's Day. Should you get a divorce? 10 signs your marriage is over, according to experts. Now, listen, again, I just typed in, should I get a divorce? And these are the top ones that came up. And here's the list that they're giving you. So I'm hoping that some lost soul out there that's in peril, that's in the valley of decision about their marriage, has probably either read these already or run across these sites. And I'm just giving you some honest feedback. And then we're going to, I got something else for you. Just you stick around. Number 1 on their list, lack of sexual intimacy. Yeah, this can be a problem. It definitely can lead to someone making a choice, not being forced to, but making a choice to step out on each other. All right, this is not acceptable. You need to figure that out. Get that dialed in, right? You need a healthy sex life in the marriage. Now, listen, you're not going to die from not having sex, but this is a key way, one of the many ways that a husband and a wife connect. You need to get that fixed, friends. You need to listen to each other, find out what's going on there. 2, domestic violence. All right, listen, this is an area where I'm going to say, don't get divorced, but separate. All right. So I want to encourage you, you do not stay in a home with someone who is physically abusing you. Emotional abuse and verbal abuse, you need to really verify that, make sure that's going on as well. Do not sit up underneath, especially physical abuse, just not acceptable. You got to get out of there. So I always counsel folks, hey, listen, don't go and file for the divorce, but get under another roof, get you and your children, perhaps yourself, in a safe place, and then see if that spouse is open to getting the help that he or she needs. Now, you're not to force anybody to stay with you. You're going to be separated. Obviously, you're not going to be intimate. You're not going to be together. And I would submit to you that if that individual is not willing to fix it over time, they're going to step out on you. They're going to leave you. And then you will have grounds for a biblical divorce, which we're going to talk about here just in a minute. All right. But definitely, I know there are many that are of a solid religious, Christian, Muslim, Catholic conviction. Like, no, we stick together, hell or high water, come what may. All right, that's good. But you do not have to be under the same roof with somebody that's cleaning your clock. Get to safety and put them in a position where they have to make the changes, or they will eventually leave you. 3, lack of effort. Yeah, make the effort. 4, feeling disconnected from one another. Reconnect. Yeah, it's work. Reconnect. 5, lack of support or not listening to needs. Learn how to communicate. Listen, we assume just because we thought we were in love or we said we were in love, that now I'm marrying this emotionally intelligent, mature person who's supposed to be an adult, and now we're not. Listen, if you're honest with yourself right now, listening to this podcast, I bet you more than half of the marriages out there, you're married to a spouse that doesn't have the tools in their toolbox to even know how to love you. They don't have the tools in their toolbox to know how to communicate effectively or to communicate at all. Wasn't even modeled from them. Probably coming from a broken home, coming from, even if they had 2 parents, maybe the communication, the love wasn't there. So now you have an unrealistic expectation of intercourse, right? Of verbal intercourse with your spouse. Who told you that they knew how to communicate? Did you do your due diligence? Unrealistic expectations. According to what's this, Lori Poon, a family and divorce attorney mediator in New York City, and author of Blah, 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 one spouse may start to grasp one of the idea that if things were different from how they were in the past, then they wouldn't have the problems they're experiencing in the present. Listen, man, yeah, let's have realistic expectations. And this kind of bleeds out of what I was just saying in the previous point. Do you know who you married? Do you understand that they probably didn't know how to be married? I know in my experience, my father wasn't around, right? I didn't have any male figure showing me how to be a husband, how to be a man, how to be a godly man. So how was I going to reproduce that in my marriage? So I turned to Christ, and I had to start learning as I was married. Yeah, this was really going on out here. All right, number 7, no compromising. You must compromise in your marriage to some degree, period. If you can't do that, don't get married. Okay. Number 8, not being on the same page about the future. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Again, this falls into the due diligence category. You didn't do your due diligence. Don't punk out now. You should have known about being on the same page about the future before you got married. Number 9, lack of respect. We spoke about this already. Number 10, cheating or lack of trust. Perfect, friends. This is not acceptable by the husband or by the wife. No cheating allowed. No pornography allowed. No lustful eyes allowed. No work boyfriends, no work wives, no work husbands. None of that's allowed. No stepping out of the marriage mentally, even in thought. That must be curbed. That must be brought. That must be turned from, repented from. This, friends, this is the only valid reason. Let me show you from the Bible. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 23, Jesus said this, "But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving or except for the cause of fornication," okay, sex outside of marriage, "causes her to commit adultery, violating the marital covenant. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committeth adultery." This is the only reason, friends, that you would have a biblical grounds for divorce. This is the only reason why you would have biblical grounds for divorce. This is it. So you've got to make the right decision up front. Do not rush into marriage. I believe a lot of people are getting divorced out there because they just did not slow down. They did not do the due diligence. They did not prayerfully approach this relationship. They didn't get the input and counsel from others that they needed. And out of all these 5 of these lists, that's not a word, friends. Let's be clear about that. Out of all these lists that we went through, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 or more, I did not see anything that could not be changed, that could not be corrected, friends. So there's only one reason and one time to get divorced. And even in the light of infidelity, many marriages, many people, even God himself, when Israel cheated on him, took them back. And in many cases, the marriage ends up being stronger because of that infidelity, because of that brokenness. I'm not saying in every case. Some people go on to continue to cheat, and you need to get out of there. Right? We're not taking cheating lightly. Nobody wants any STDs. Nobody wants any diseases. And some folks, they are losing their marriages, their spouses, because they just can't keep it in their pants, friends, or pull their skirts down, keep their legs closed. But everything we've looked at this podcast, everything we've looked at on these lists can be corrected. And we need to do what we said we were going to do at the altar. We need to depend on God and put in the work and put in the effort. And if you have a spouse who has said, "Hey, man, I want to still be with you in light of your infidelity," my goodness. Wow. You need to get praying that your heart will be broken and you will see the enormity of your sin and appreciate what your spouse is giving you and forgiving you. Friends, I'm Gordon McGee. This is No Pills, Love Fully Scripted, and I'm signing off, and I'll catch you next week.